Hello. My name is Miranda from the Natural Resource Damage Program. I'm our Procurement and Contracts Officer. We're going to go ahead and get started with this Q&A period. I did want to let everybody know that we are recording this meeting, so just be aware of that. And I'll kick it over to other NRDP staff to introduce themselves before we get started.
Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine Houserath. I'm the Chief Legal Counsel for the Natural Resource Damage Program.
I'm Doug Martin. I'm the Program Administrator.
Brian, you're muted.
Brian Barkoyak, Natural Resource Damage Program.
Aston Ward, Natural Resource Damage Program.
And we don't have a presentation plan for this. It's just available for questions if you want to raise your hand and we can call on you, or if you would like to turn your camera on, we'll see that you would like to talk and you may go ahead with your question. So whichever you prefer, and we'll just answer them as we can. I don't see that anyone's raised their hands, but go ahead.
Hi, Catherine, this is Jim Dunnigan. I had a question about kind of the process and what needs to be done, I guess, during the solicitation versus an opportunity afterwards. For example, would the contractor need to get certification with the Department of Labor for the workman's comp prior to the submittal? And kind of the same question as far as the workman's comp with Department of Labor.
And I'll let Miranda chime in. We would need all of the insurance before a contract can be signed. So that would be in the next few months.
But does it need to be part of the submittal process?
No, you're not submitting it as part of the RFQ or RFP. I'm not sure exactly what we're calling this one, but you wouldn't be submitting it as part of that paperwork. You would need to be able to show that documentation before we can execute a contract is all.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any follow-up on that, or are you good?
No, but that goes with the certificate of insurance that would show Montana, state of Montana listed as a additional insured, or however you phrase that, I guess. Additional insured, yeah.
Yeah, you would need to be able to provide that before we could sign the contract, but not. In fact, we would request not to submit it with the RFP. Yep. Any other questions? I mean, feel free to keep peppering away if you have them.
Well, I guess I'll keep going. Just a question. It looks like once the process officially launches, it looks like all questions are answered through the EMAX. Is that correct? And is there a point of contact, or are there any options, or that's just how it has to happen?
That is the only way that questions can be answered. And so on the EMAX system, there's a board, and there's no particular person you have to address the question to. You just type in your question and then we answer them in that same location.
Hi, Catherine. I have a quick question for you. I'm just looking at the frequently asked questions document that goes along with this, the prospective timelines for RFP on page 2. It looks like there's NRDP issues RFP, or I guess this would be an RFQ in next month, October 2025. Nonprofits and NGOs submit proposals on EMAC. Is that correct that it's November 2026 or is it November 2025? And then NRDP evaluates the proposals in January 2026.
Thank you. It goes to show that even having multiple eyes look at something, no, you are correct. We are not, we're going to issue it in October is still our plan, and then have the responses due before Thanksgiving of this same year.
Okay. Okay. That makes much more sense to me. I was like, oh, I was a little excited about having so much time, but okay. That sounds great.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate the clarification. We will fix that and upload revised FAQs. So
Okay.
we're not creating more confusion.
And hi, Catherine. This is Wendy Weaver. I'm also sitting with Jeanette. I had another question. Is there any way to get an idea of the plan, the proposed projects within the plan, or mitigating the damages? Any idea of just the scope of what the state's going to want?
The primary thing that we need help with is if for restoration actions that need to be performed on private property, that identifying landowners within the high, the areas of high priority for implementation of restoration, identifying landowners who would be willing to implement projects and then obtaining those. And so bringing project ideas in already identified priority areas for the most part. There's obviously some other types of restoration actions that would be useful for support, but those are definitely an area that NRDP relies heavily on stakeholders in local areas.
Is it possible to get those priority areas? I'm just wondering if any of the work that we did with Alicia would be helpful or revisited to not reinvent the wheel on some of this stuff.
Well, I don't know exactly what you did with Alicia, but yes, in the restoration plan for the 2011 spill, I'm assuming you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, Wendy, this is Doug Martin. I think you are correct. Yeah, we would, for the Yellowstone stuff, we would be interested in picking up some of that stuff that has been done in the past to reevaluate it. Maybe there's some new information and expanding on that. That being said, to talk about it more in general terms, for all of our restoration plans, that's what we are looking for this help in from folks like yourself, for instance, in Libby or on the Yellowstone or in the Upper Clark Fork, help identifying, priority projects that we can work on. So yes, that work that you did on the Yellowstone would be is very similar to what we're looking to continue and trying to improve on that or expand to try to find more projects.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, one more question from Jeanette. Will the RFQ or RFP identify those priority areas?
So yes, the RFP will have restoration plans listed to help sort out who wants to do or who has experience doing work in what geographic area. We won't be spelling out individual priorities from restoration plans in the RFP. Those would need to be obtained from the restoration plan itself.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And it looks like Ben has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you. And I think you may have just answered that question, but the restoration activities that you're looking for assistance in implementing are also those that are identified in the individual restoration plans?
Yes,
Okay, great,
absolutely.
great. Cool. Thank you.
And in fact, I would say more prescriptively than that, we're not looking for support outside of areas where we have restoration plans for the most part, because we don't have funding for anything else but implementation of the settlements that we have.
Yeah, and I guess I was just looking for clarification on the specific restoration activities, and those just as we're specifically interested in the Anaconda Uplands Restoration Plan, and so just looking at the restoration activities identified in that plan.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Yep, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so how does that process differ with the Libby area where the final plan is yet to be written?
Yes, that's a good question. It is a little bit distinct. You would still need to look at the, so Libby's slightly different in that we have an appendix that was attached to the settlement agreement itself that spelled out the type of restoration actions that could be funded by the settlement agreement. And so I would look, you would need to tie your restoration actions that you might be able to support NRDP to that, rather than because, as you know, there isn't a final restoration plan that spells out all of the activities that could be covered. But the same concept of being able to support in one of those, whether it's helping develop a project that would meet those goals in the attachment E of the settlement agreement.
You said that's in the appendix.
Brian, do you remember we attached, or Aspen, we attached that from the settlement agreement? It's certainly on our website, but I would imagine, I haven't looked at the interim restoration plan recently, but basically that's what puts the sideboards on what the settlement can be spent on. So I'm assuming we actually attached it.
I believe
But
it is attached to the IRP.
Yeah, if not, it's definitely attached to the settlement agreement, which is also on the website. But I think we attached it. I'm looking. Oh, go ahead, Jeanette.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding this correctly, this will be the there's a master service contract. This would last for 7 years. So those of us that apply and then have the qualifications to be selected get into that kind of I guess selected group, and then additional subsequent task orders or RFPs will be issued that are project specific, that are either already on the books or maybe upcoming or maybe come into play down the road within this 7-year period. Is that how I'm reading this correctly?
Yes, that's correct. The master contract doesn't in itself award work or fund work.
I have another question, and this may or may not fit with the topic. And Doug, maybe you can answer this. Will there be any project related stuff to past oil spills on the Yellowstone, or is that pot of money been expended?
This is Doug. No, so we would be looking at looking for project partners for the 2011, the Exxon oil spill, as well as the 2015 spill as well.
Okay, so this is kind of an extension of that process that had been going on.
It is, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, there
Okay,
are
thanks.
still funds available on that from that restoration plan.
Okay, thank you.
And Jim, just to follow up on your question, the attachment I was referring to is attached to the interim restoration plan for Libby as a attachment A. Are there any other questions? Great. Well, if there aren't any other questions, please read the instructions or watch the video or both about registering for Emacs, and make sure that you have that piece in place before the day that the RFP is due, just to make sure that any problems can be addressed through the Emacs support folks. And you can look for it.
Actually, one more question for you.
Okay.
This RFP, when it comes out next month, where will it be? Is that going to just come through Emacs as an announcement, or will everybody on this meeting have an email sent, or how does that work?
So I guess that's a good question as far as I don't actually.
Catherine, I think I
No.
can answer that one.
Okay.
So the way that Emacs works is as long as you're registered, it will set you up when we put together the RFQ, it will send out a notification to everybody that we send the RFQ to. So the system will send you an email that this is open for submittal. You'll want to make sure if you haven't been in there before and you haven't used Emacs, it is possible that the email will go to your junk mail. I've had people tell me that before, so I would definitely be double checking your junk box, making sure that it didn't go there, because it comes from it's not like one of us emailing you, it's a scripted system email.
And is there a date that you're anticipating? I mean, if we don't get something by a certain date, is there a way that we can follow up and what that certain date might be, like just roughly?
Yeah, early October if you don't see it. And Emacs has a public facing page, so you'll see it there. But we have so you can go look for it even if it doesn't get pushed out to you. But we identified 2 commodity codes in the FAQs. Make sure that you sign up for those, because we will push it out to those commodity codes.
Okay.
And I honestly I'm not sure if we from the recording can access your emails, because this was just a public meeting invite that we published to everyone. So I don't know that we have the capacity to add you from attending this event. But
Okay,
if you-
great. Thank
if-
you.
Yeah.
So if I understood that correctly, Catherine, we need to be enrolled with an active Emacs account prior to the solicitation, or we might not get the notification.
Correct. You won't get the notification if you're not in Emacs and you haven't signed up for those two commodity codes in the FAQs. However, if you don't receive it and you haven't signed up yet, you can also go find it and then sign up for Emacs as well. Because it's a publicly advertised event. And so if for some reason you don't get the notification and it's mid-October, go to the Google Montana Emacs public site and you can look for it that way as well.
Thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Catherine, but I do believe we put information on how to sign up for Emacs in the frequently asked questions.
We did. And so in this question that says how to sign up, we also listed, so it's how do I sign up for Emacs? We also at the bottom of that FAQ listed those commodity codes I keep referencing. And if you sign up for Emacs, request to be part of those commodity codes, then it should be pushed out to you fairly seamlessly. Any other questions about anything in the FAQs or insurance, anything along those lines?
Thank you for holding this Q&A session. This was really helpful.
You're welcome. Well, we're happy to answer any other questions if you think of them. We can stay on. I'll probably turn my camera off and mute myself though, so that there's not just a recording of me for the remainder of the time period.
Thanks very much for making the time, and look forward to submitting our qualifications.
You're welcome. Thank you everyone for coming to our Q&A.
Thank you. Bye-bye.